we're going to do that first.
Okay, everybody, we will call this Murraysville Council meeting to order. We are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. At this point, I'm going to hand the meeting over to the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dice. I'm here tonight and extremely proud to welcome 5 Eagle Scouts to our council meeting tonight. Since 1912, more than 2 million Boy Scouts have earned the Eagle Scout Award, Scouts' highest rank advancement. Eagle Scouts exemplify the virtues of service, leadership, and duty to God, using their training and influence to better their communities and the world. At this time, I'd like to ask the 5 of you to come forward, please. And I'd ask Mr. Jerry Dybel to come forward also to assist me. I'm going to read the beginning and the ending of the citation because I'm going to leave the middle part out because that's the project you fellows have done. And you're going to get to tell us about your project. And when you're done telling us about your project, at the end you can introduce your family or parents or whoever may be here. In recognition of successfully attaining the rank of Eagle Scout, this achievement demonstrates your diligence, dependability, and loyalty to the scouting program. Carry the pride you feel today with you always. Congratulations, you are prepared for life. Mr. Dybel, would you distribute the citations, please?
Certainly.
Read it upside down. Congratulations. 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 Thank you. Congratulations. This time I'd like to ask Frank from Post 711 to come up, please.
First of all, I'd like to apologize. We only had 4 names given to us, and I will make sure that the person
Okay. The first award is for Roman Colangio, Eagle Award.
Roman, this is a good citizen citation awarded to you of Troop 205, who has attained the rank of Eagle Scout, the Murraysville American Legion Post 711. Congratulations. Thank you.
The next award goes to Nathan Kuzmatsky Kowakowski.
Our post, congratulations. Thank you. You're welcome.
The next Eagle Award goes to Anthony Poole.
We don't have him.
That's the one we forgot.
That's the one we didn't do.
Okay. The next award, and we do have this one, is to Thomas Salata.
Thomas?
And we have 2 other awards. We have Michael Salata for a Certificate of Appreciation and Sue Salata for a Certificate of Appreciation. And the last Eagle Award that we have to present today is for Nathan Snyder.
Thank you very much for some of the projects you did, especially
Thank you.
the one that did the cemeteries and cleaned the graves of veterans in the local community. We thank you, and we thank you all for what you do.
Thanks, Frank. Next, I believe our state legislator, Jill Cooper, has awards also for the young men.
Thank you, Mayor. The citation is an award that we give out at the House of Representatives. A citation is something that's not given out lightly. You have to achieve 25 years of service to normally get a citation, reach 90 years of age to get a citation from the House of Representatives, or do something, that's considered worthy. There's all kind of requirements to get a citation. The reason I love giving out the citations to the Eagle Scout Awards is because it goes to such young men and women who have achieved such great attributes. They have such great attributes, and you are such good citizens. And I just love the Scouts, and I love being here to be able to give this to you, because not many citations go to young people, and the Eagle Scout Award is one of those. You'll be able to find the citation in the archives at the Capitol for generations to come. So years from now, you can go and show your families that it's still there. And so what I would like to do is read one in its entirety first, and then I will present each one to you individually. They're all similar except for where you have your Scout project. So, the House of Representatives citation. Whereas the House of Representatives of Pennsylvania takes great pride in recognizing Thomas Michael Salata, who has displayed steadfast commitment to the ideals and time-honored traditions of the Boy Scouts of America by attaining the rank of Eagle Scout, an accomplishment of the highest magnitude. And whereas the rank of Eagle Scout is the highest advancement rank that can be reached by a Boy Scout, in achieving this praiseworthy distinction, Thomas completed all portions of the Eagle Award program, which help a scout to develop in areas of leadership, service, and outdoor skills. To fulfill the community service requirement, Thomas refurbished multiple cemeteries in the Murraysville area through tasks such as removing growth, installing new flagpoles, and cleaning and resetting headstones. In addition, he has served in the leadership position of senior patrol leader. And whereas through initiative and by his personal example, Thomas is a living testament to the virtues of duty and citizenship that has so genuinely and readily displayed. He is the son of Michael and Susan Salata and member of Troop 205. Now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania applauds Thomas Michael Salata upon earning the rank of Eagle Scout, affirmatively states that he truly exemplifies the admirable spirit and essence of the Boy Scouts of America, extends best wishes for continued leadership and service to others, and directs that a copy of this citation, sponsored by me today, be transmitted to you. So, Thomas, I want to congratulate you. Thank you for all that you do. And next I have Roman Henry Colangelo. Congratulations. And Nathan R. Kuzmikowski. Okay, I'm sorry about that. And this one, Nathan Snyder. Congratulations. And last but not least, Anthony Xavier Polk.
Thanks, Jill. At this time, we'll put the boys on the spot, young men now, we'll say. Would you tell us what your project was and anyone that helped you, or if any family members or your scout leaders here? Thank you.
Thank you for having us tonight, Council. I did my project at my church, which is Mother of Sorrows Parish. I helped to enhance the aesthetics of the AV room, which is where they use all the equipment to stream our masses. I painted the room. I built a desk to put in to hold the equipment, and I also put in some office chairs to help make the equipment better. My mother, who is videotaping, she helped me a lot on my project, making sure I was available on the days. And my father also helped me a lot, too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I worked with Miss Carly Green and Mr. Diable to build a goggleball pit at Kovalchik Park, which is near Delmont, but still in Murraysville. So that involved acquiring donations from Village Hardware and Stanford Hardware. They were very generous in donating almost all of the materials that were necessary for this project. Goggleball pit, it's like an 8-sided ring. You hit the ball at people's legs to try to get them out. And apparently it's getting lots of use from what I've heard. All the baseball kids that go to the park will use it. And so I'm just great to hear that it's being used, and I'm really happy that I did something great. So thank you guys.
Hi, I'm Thomas Salata. My project was to beautify and remove any growth in the cemeteries, including Murraysville, Olive, Hinkey Church, Sardis, and Hills Church. We cleaned headstones and put up a new flagpole in Murraysville Cemetery. I'd like to thank both my parents, Mike and Susan Salata, as well as Mr. Diable for helping me with this.
Hello, my name is Nathan Kozhemkowski. My project was to build storage crates for a Pinewood Derby track owned by Hills Church. I worked on this project with my father, Thomas, and Mr. Diable to make this project possible. I also received donations from Stanford Home Center, and I'd just like to thank everyone who helped out with this.
Hello, my name is Roman Colangelo. I built a kiosk on the Westmoreland Heritage Trail in Export. I'd like to particularly thank Mr. Diable for his countless hours put in to help me in his experience as a carpenter. Along with that, I would like to thank my parents and my troop for helping me and pushing me to get this done. I got a lot of my funding from two sources, the Westmoreland Heritage Trail, which I'm very grateful for, and the Trail Volunteer Fund. So thank you.
Again, congratulations to all of you, and thanks, Mr. Diable, for all your assistance with this. And thank you, all the parents and Post 711 and our state representative for being here tonight. This is a great occasion. Thank you. Give them a minute to leave.
Yeah, I was going to say, anyone who doesn't want to see the regular meeting, now's the time.
I advised. I have the FDMSA report, including an answer from Mr. Wolf. Yep. See ya.
Thanks so much.
See you, buddy. Thank you. Take care. Yep.
Okay. That being said, we will get to our regular voting agenda. Can I please have a roll call? Thank you.
Mr. McKenna?
Here.
Mrs. Ling?
Present.
Mr. Olszewski?
Here.
Mr. Stepanovich?
Here.
Mr. Diakopoulos?
Here.
Mr. Lemak?
Here.
Mr. Dice?
Here.
Mayor Sinan?
Here.
Thank you, everyone. We already did the Pledge of Allegiance, so at this point, I would ask, do we have any unlisted amendments?
There's only one item. This may or may not be an unlisted amendment, but I'll add it in anyway.
Okay.
You may have on your printout item 14B. And if you don't, it's because you have one of the earlier copies. We did get this item advertised in the newspaper late on Thursday, so it did go into the Penn Franklin. Item 14B is listed as a reapproval of the preliminary final lot revision plan for Delmont Builder Supply, Inc. and Delmont Industrial Drive, LLC. And this is a reapproval because this was an item that previously was approved by council, but time limitations have expired, and so we would need a reapproval. I'm sure the solicitor could more fully explain as we get to that item on the agenda. So just want to make sure that that is an item listed for council this evening, item 14B.
Okay. No, thanks for that, because it's actually not on my agenda, so that's a good catch. Thank you. That being said, we will now move on to our consent calendar items, only the minutes. Are there any questions or concerns about the minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the March 19th, 2024 minutes.
Second the motion.
Go, Jason and Carl. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. That brings us to comments by the mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Dice. Yeah, they're coming up there. A Real ID Assistance Clinic is Thursday, April the 4th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Lamplighter Restaurant. If you have questions about Real ID, join them at Lamplighter for a special event Thursday, April 4th from 5 to 7 at the Lamplighter. Registration is encouraged but not required. Call 724-387-9113 to register if you have any questions. Next slide, please. The Joey Gumbosh Fishing Tournament is at Townsend Park, Saturday, April 6th, 2024, 8 to 4 p.m. Children up to age 15. If you don't know, that's in honor of Joey Gumbosh. Solar eclipse viewing party is going to be Monday, April 8th from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Watch the eclipse with the Murraysville Community Library and the Recreation Department. Meet at Field 2 at Murraysville Community Park, 4056 Westertown. We will have eclipse glasses on site, 1 pair per family. Do not view the eclipse without wearing your glasses. Next, we have Murraysville Cleanup Week, April 15th through April 20th. It's at the Pleasant Valley Landfill. The municipality of Murraysville's residents may take items to the Valley Landfill on PV Road from April 15th through the 19th during the hours of 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, April 20th from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. You must have a permit. The permit passes are available at the reception desk right out here at the front door. Next, we have the 26th Annual Blessing of the Bikes. That's at the Murraysville Alliance Church on Sunday, April 16th. You probably want to start getting there around 11 o'clock if you want to see this, because it fills up, the church fills up, and then it ends up with the service being outside. There's free coffee and donuts and free ride pin and year bars. Sunday, April 21st, again, rain or shine. Curbside leaf collection. There's only one left, Saturday, April 27th. To schedule a pickup, one of the collection dates, you must fill out a curbside leaf collection program form on the website. There's a 20-bag limit. The deadline to sign up is the Thursday before the pickup date. Again, that's the last one, April 27th. Last but not least, on Saturday, April 27th from 10 to 2 p.m., we'll be participating in National Drug Take Back Day, and we'll be doing an illegible registration plate event. Does your vehicle's registration plate look like this? In other words, you can't see it's peeling off, whatever, which we've all had them. On the same day at the same time, officers will be at the police station to fill out an MV 46-7-23 form for you. This form will get you a new registration plate. Once the form is filled out, you'll send it in the mail to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, and they'll send you a replacement plate for free. A registration plate is deemed illegible when one or more numbers or letter cannot be recognized from 50 feet, or if the registration plate shows any blistering, peeling, and/or discoloration or loss of reflectivity. That concludes my report for this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mayor. That brings us to comments by the Chief Administrator, Mr. Nestiga.
Just to go back, I think the one slide for the Blessing of the Bikes had 2 dates listed, and to be clear, April 21st is a Sunday, so I believe that they may have also inadvertently listed Sunday, April 16th on that slide. So just to clarify that, Sunday, April 21st. Only one other announcement. As many are aware, the municipality is part of the MRM Pooled Trust for comp purposes, workers' comp purposes. Many of you may know that Mayor Simon is a trustee of MRM. He gave me a little notice earlier today that we are expecting to receive a dividend of over $51,000 for this year. So we will be getting that information from MRM rather soon, but since the mayor relayed the message, I wanted to pass it along as well. So it's a positive thing for the municipality receiving such a big dividend on our comp policy. That is all for this evening.
Okay, awesome. And again, yeah, MRM has been doing a great job for us for a while, so that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, moving on. That brings us to community input. Okay, thank you for that. We will start with Mr. Ron Wolf. And Mr. Wolf, I will note the mayor has informed me he does have a response for you from FTMSA, but you still have your 3 minutes. I just wanted you to know that.
Just got out of the hospital from having my knee replaced, so you'll have to excuse my movements.
I'm sorry.
It's Ron Wolf, 3644 Forbes Trail Drive. Mostly I've come here complaining about FITSMA and what's going on with the sewer system. Today was an eventful day for me, plus yesterday. I woke up 2 days in a row with a lake in my backyard that was raw storage, and the sewer from sanitary sewer lid was spouting water this high all the way around, and there was a trail down through the yard back into my neighbor's yard, and he has a play set there for his 12 grandchildren to play in. Now it's flooded with raw sewage, and I'd like to hear the report from the mayor. He told me he did go to the meeting.
All right. We'll get through citizens' comments, and then do you want to give it, Mayor?
Sure, I'll do it during the FTMSA report.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Moving on, that brings us to Mr. Rick Fisher. And just state your name and address. I know you know that. You're here for the trail. Yep.
Rick Fisher, 6612 Italy Road. Yeah, I'm your representative to the Westmoreland Heritage Trail. The Westmoreland Heritage Trail has been having what we call a Trail Town Festival for the last 4 years. So far, the festival's been held in Trafford, Export, and Slickville. We're trying to move it around to all the towns that it passes through. These communities have been helpful by providing the use of parks, pavilions, bathrooms, and buildings for the festival. This year, we decided to have the festival in Murraysville. The community center is the closest facility to the trail. We're a little bit disappointed with Murraysville's level of commitment to the trail. There's required a deposit for the use of the building, for the sale of alcohol, and a $50 charge for each food truck or food vendor. There's been some turnover with the council in the last few years, so some of you may not be aware there is an agreement between Murraysville and Westmoreland County from 2017. I'll just read one paragraph, which is really one sentence here. It says, whereas the partners mutually desire to mobilize their resources in order to maximize the efficient use of finances in the development, administration, management, and maintenance of the WHT and the Roberts Parcel Trail access area. Murraysville did provide significant help in the construction of the trail, such as drainage pipes and road crossings, for which we are grateful. But since then, requests for help have mostly been turned down. Trafford, Monroeville Export, Salem Township have helped with occasional mowing and tree removal. It's too involved for our volunteers. And of course, the previously mentioned trail towns. We just would want to ask that you remind departments that when the Westmoreland Heritage Trail asks for assistance, we're not really asking for a favor. It's something that Murraysville has previously agreed to.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll certainly follow up. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to Mr. Russ Sepko.
Russ Zepko, 2414 Willow Drive, Mannerdale Farms. Been up here numerous times over the last few months. I think you know why I'm here again tonight. When we first got involved in this process, a lot of our neighbors came up to us and said, hey, it's a waste of time, it's a fait accompli, it's a done deal, don't get involved. Well, I guess we'll see tonight what the case really is. Several things that we have accomplished, I think, by getting involved is letting council know the level of ire that this really has raised in the community, especially near the site of development, proposed development. But there are certainly a number of things that are still troubling us and that we don't understand. We certainly don't pretend to understand the auto body business, but in general business practices, we don't understand why they only evaluated one site in Murraysville, why that site requires a number of extra conditions that wouldn't be required at a different site. They keep bringing forward comparisons between their proposed development and the Connolly Auto Body Shop across the street. If they moved across the street, a lot of these conditions probably wouldn't be required. So it's not clear to us, why that's a valid comparison. If they went across the street, hey, we wouldn't be asking for a lot of different conditions. It seems the council is concerned about turning this down and getting sued. If I was a business owner and wanted to get my business up and running, I wouldn't want to go through the court system for 2 or 3 years to fight a council decision. So a lot of things just don't add up from a business standpoint on why they are so insistent upon that particular site. The easement process we haven't heard much about lately. We did hear a little bit last meeting about, the easement, if it's not approved, they can go to a pumping system. Okay, yes, they can do that, but again, that's going to increase their cost. And as a business standpoint, it's not clear to us why they want to, increase their cost instead of going across the street. So, we're still hoping that council votes no on this, and we hope that with a no vote that they will see the light and move to a different location and not have to go through a lengthy court process. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. That brings us to Miss Ann Wade.
Good evening. My name's Ann Wade. I live at 6202 Old William Penn Highway. I'm also on the board of the Westmoreland Heritage Trail. And to tag on to what Mr. Fisher said, we're doing the poker run on June 1st, and we're going to start down at the Murraysville Community Center. We're only having 3 food trucks, and Helltown is going to be there in the distillery, and he had talked about the $50, the application fee. Unfortunately, the food trucks are probably only going to be there for about 3 hours. We don't expect more than maybe at the max 150 people. So consequently, if we ask the food trucks to pay $50, it's going to probably cut into their profits. So ideally, what we'd like to know is if you would be willing to waive that $50 registration fee or even make it a little less than what you originally have. Normally when you have an event, you have food trucks, they're there for 6 or 7 hours, and you probably have hundreds of people that participate. And I don't anticipate being the case. So that's what we're asking. If you consider it, we would greatly appreciate it.
Okay.
All right?
We'll
Thank
absolutely get back to you. Thank you. Okay, at this point, we have no one else who has signed up for public comment, but for the good of the order, would anyone else like to speak? Okay, seeing no takers, we will move on to the liaison comments and committee reports. Let's start on this end. Eli? And if there's no report, that's fine.
There is no report. The next meeting is not till May.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
And
no report. I still need to follow up with you on who to contact and when.
Awesome. Thank you.
Planning Commission has rescheduled their monthly meeting to April 30th.
Okay. Matt?
The Parks and Recreation Committee met February 13th. Some of the discussions, we did have some community members came asking about the condition of some of the tennis courts in Murraysville. Bill Piano from our Public Works Department did update them on some of the things that we're doing. That is, we are improving some of those courts, so we should see that happening here shortly. The Public Works had given a report that they've been working really hard in the parks. Obviously, it's a big time. The rain's not helping, I'm sure, there with opening day for baseball and everything. So those guys have been doing the picnic tables, the garbage cans, park signs, benches, the parking lot maintenance, just making sure everything's ready for our summer because our parks do get used a good bit. We have had vandalism in some of the parks, so please ask the community members just to keep their eyes peeled. And, there's no reason to do that. We're trying to keep these nice for everyone in the community to use. The work at Duff Park Pavilion's been completed on the pavilion roof, and the stones are used to update Duff Park's parking lot. The couple of the things that are going on coming up here for the summer, just keep in mind about the farmers market that goes on by the fire department and Medic One. The Tuesdays at Townsend will be starting up here shortly in the summer. Full and half day Mad Scientist, Out of the Box Nature Camp, and then the concert in the park, which is scheduled for August 9th, are some of the things going on. And other than that, we were scheduled to do cleaning up of Kelman Reserve and the trails there this Saturday. We've now postponed that. I don't think we can even walk down in there right now. So we're going to push that back a little bit. We have some of the scouts that are helping. We're going to clean some of that up so that those trails are able to be used by the people that live there like to walk those trails, but they're really, really overgrown. So we're going to push that back. And we do have, the Boy Scouts were here tonight. They have helped with, we have some of them helping with signs as parts of their projects to do. So we're very grateful for that. And I just wanted to say congratulations to those Boy Scouts. That's the Eagle Scout thing's fantastic for them. So
absolutely. No.
That's it.
All right, thanks, Mac. Carl?
Medic One met on March 21st, and for February, they had a total of 1,288 trips. 958 were ambulance details, 330 with a wheelchair. The the first subscription turned out well. They garnered $172,072, which was a percentage rate of 17.9, and that is good. They did pass the safety audit, which was good. They did, in the context of their work, pulled a vehicle out of Loyalhanna Lake, and they indicated that the hours per trip ratio, it's about 3.5 hours per trip. And that's it for now. The Marysville Parks and Recreation Foundation is going to meet next Monday.
Awesome, thank you. Jason?
The library meets April 18th.
Okay, awesome. Mayor?
Yes, I attended the FTMSA meeting for Mr. Dice, and I picked up a few tidbits and asked some questions to answer Mr. Wolf. A couple of them is, this is the DEP's work order, 5-year agreement that FTMSA signed with the DEP. And those lines in pink are all completed now, that you can see, which is quite a bit. The gray is still being worked on, and the yellow is left to do. They still have till the end of August next year to complete this mission. The mission started off with 165 miles of cammering lines and identifying, correcting any defects, and repairing all that need repairs of 4,600 manholes, many of which they had no idea where they were. So then they identified 1,552 defects, of which 1,000 of them were class 4 or 5, which means they're up the ladder pretty good. They only have 84 of those defects left to complete their repair so that they can meet the DEP guidelines. We're keeping in mind that if we don't meet the DEP guidelines, they can take our sewer taps off of us, which is what happened to start all of this. They have the average daily flow reduced from 4.8 million gallons to 2.58 million gallons. Now, don't get me wrong, we all saw some sewers backed up today. They're not done. In direct answer to Mr. Wolf, is they're going to run some cross mains from that line over to the main line, which is going to help alleviate some of that pressure. That's one thing. Secondly, they're planning on putting in an equalization tank somewhere in that area to help absorb these high flow events. And thirdly, they're going to add a third pump at their main pump station, which is going to make it be able to take much more sewage. Hopefully that at least gets Mr. Wolf, and his project should be starting sometime in August.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on. Looking at the agenda this evening, it appears we have no workshop items, so that will take us straight to our action items. We'll begin with 14A, and similar to a previous issue, I think the wording might prevent us getting a motion. So what's going to happen is I'm going to make the motion and ask for a second, and I'm just going to word it ever so slightly different. So I'm going to make a motion to approve or deny SP-4-23, a major land development application, Caliber Collision, 6037 William Penn Highway, for a proposed 12,476 square foot auto repair center, tax parcel 4920-00037B, business zoning, inclusive of all conditions that have been discussed and as contained in the briefings. And at this point, I would ask for a second, please.
Second the motion.
Thanks, Carl. So at this point, we have a motion and a second, meaning that 14A is now pending on the floor. So per usual, I'll just ask, is there anyone who would like to speak first on this issue tonight before we vote? Okay.
I'll say something. I still have some concerns myself about where the entrances are and how PennDOT determined that that was acceptable. I still feel after traveling that, and I did make several trips down there, that it just is not safe. That's just my common sense experience. So I have some concerns about that. And I still have some concerns about some of the information that is still pending, that we're lacking to make this decision on. I just would feel more comfortable making a decision if we had some of the reports, like the impact studies and things like that. So that's my comment.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you.
I would second the concern, as I stated in previous meetings, about the road. I think we've even had two comments from the applicants stating the speed of the road is very high. PennDOT makes mistakes. I think they made a mistake in this one as well, as we all do. And secondly, we were all elected here by the people of Murraysville, who have come out multiple times. We didn't volunteer to just come up here and do this position, so I think we need to also take that into consideration when we vote.
Absolutely. Thank you.
My thoughts on the traffic are the same. I think it's a problem. I think eventually there's going to be harm, if you will, the way the turning lane going in when you're going west on 22, and I know the answer to it is signage, and I just think that's a weak to it. What I'm a little bit frustrated with is PennDOT. Now, I know we don't have control over PennDOT, and what I seem to have heard from a number of people is that, well, if you talk to them, you'll get nowhere. Well, I don't know that we've talked to them. It's kind of like, well, no, there's no use talking to them, so therefore why talk to them? Well, the point is, and I'd like to hear any input from my fellow council people as to what about that? Is it
what I would?
And so therefore that's my biggest concern is the traffic.
Yep. I just have. Oh no, I'll let anyone else speak first because I think once I start, I'm probably going to ramble. So
I'll go. I mirror Carl's concerns on the traffic, and I do think that that's a PennDOT issue, but I do agree with Carl on the fact that we've had issues with the noise and whatnot of the people that have come here before with PennDOT, and we seem to get nowhere with PennDOT, but that doesn't mean we just don't try. I mean, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't ask. So I do think we need to keep up on that. As far as the discussions we've had in regards to this development, you know, the people that live there, I mean, it's weighed a lot on, I know, my mind and probably everyone up here's minds. And I've listened, I've been up to the location, and, you know, I feel for the residents that are right there close to where this is going in at. If, you know, theoretically, if I lived there, I would be just as concerned with everything. However, also from the lens, you have to look at it at two different lenses, from the lenses of the residents and the lenses of us here on council, is we have to look at the permissible use, what the options are, and whether or not having conditions put on this is the only way really that we can protect those residents and have any type of protection from a municipality standpoint for it. So, you know, it's a tough decision, and you know, I do mirror some of the things that these guys have said, and that's about all I have to say.
Thanks, Mac. Okay, anyone else? And no pressure, it's just, you know, courtesy. Okay, with that being said, I want to explain where I'm coming from with this. Firstly, in regards to PennDOT, you know, we're acting like this is slipping in under PennDOT's nose. Highway occupancy permits are a thing. They have to get a highway occupancy permit, and they have to clear it with PennDOT and all the engineers that are paid to work there. In terms of our purview, i.e., do we get to go to the developer and say, hey, you know, the entrances, they're just not safe, so you just can't build this? You're not going to win that in court. And as I go on here, again, I can only speak for myself. I'm not the solicitor or paid to be an attorney here, but I use that to influence my decisions. And so I'll start with this. You know, at various times, people here have said, council, put yourself in our shoes. You know, imagine that you're living where we're living. You know, you look out back and you see woods, and, you know, you'd rather see that than an auto body repair shop or, you know, a Caliber Collision. And I agree with you, because when I look out my back window and on my deck, it looks like state game lands. It's wonderful. I wouldn't want anything back there at all. However, as I've said various times throughout this council, you know, we're not the lords of Murraysville. You know, if we were, it'd be extremely easy to simply say, you know what, people are too ticked off about this, like, go home, it's over, you can't build there, find another location. You know, everything Mr. Sepko said is right. Like, you know, Caliber, please go find another location, you know, please. You know, we implore you on a personal level. But getting back to put yourself in a resident's shoes, this is a permitted use. If Caliber wants to go in, it's going in. If they've decided this is the site and they like the property owner and they've entered into an agreement with him, I don't know if any of that's true, but it's up to them. That's their business decision. Council enforces its ideas about where things should be through zoning. And I've always been very open that I think businesses should be along Route 22, and that's often how we try to preserve Murraysville's rural character. Businesses on 22, everything else, let's have some big lots. That being said, again, this is a permitted use, so, and let me say this as well, I'm not afraid of being sued. The cost to litigate this case on behalf of Murraysville, in terms of our overall budget, it's not a lot, you know. I mean, worst case scenario, if it goes to the Supreme Court, you know, what, $20,000, $30,000? You know, we can afford it. The problem is we're going to lose every single step of the way, and I guarantee it. How do I know? Because I've been the solicitor on councils that vote no to this sort of thing, because they want everybody in the room to give them a thumbs up and say, great job, you voted no. And the reason that's so easy to do is because nobody will be here 2 years from now when we lose this in court. And all these conditions that are above and beyond what we can legally require, they're gone. They're out the window. It's not vote no, lose in court, and then come back and we get all 26 of those conditions. If we lose in court, we get the bare bones conditions that our ordinances specifically require and that the MPC specifically requires, and that's it. So if you were to say, Dane, you just bought a house and a month ago, then you find out this is going in, I would want this going in with these conditions. So for that reason, I am probably going to be voting yes tonight, because again, It'd be so easy to just snap my fingers and say, go away, if, you know, as a president of council, I was just the king of Murraysville, but I'm not. So just looking long-term and what really is best for the residents and the people living there in that development, in that plan, and the residents there that are going to buy homes there, you're better off having these conditions than not having these conditions. And if these conditions are gone, there's a lot of things that make this project at least more palatable that are just gone. So again, you can always say, hey, let's just put it off, let's get more info, let's do X, Y, and Z. You know what, if PennDOT comes back and says, you know, this is unsafe, okay, well, PennDOT just said it's unsafe and they don't get to build it the way they want to build it. That's what we have PennDOT for. That's why we pay taxes to them. So to me, in my individual legal opinion, voting no tonight would feel really good, but it would ultimately not be in the best interest of the residents. So that's the way I'm leaning. That's where I'm at.
And how enforceable do you feel these 28 conditions are?
100% enforceable. There is case law, and this is, again, this is what you have to think about. They came in here, and before we vote, we're going to make sure they agree to those conditions explicitly on the record. They come in here and said they agree to them, and there is case law that says even if what you agreed to is above and beyond what could be required, if you agree to it as a developer, it is 100% enforceable. So the question of how enforceable is it, it's how willing is Murraysville Council to write a check to the solicitor to enforce it. That's the question. So my question, I would think it's probably 100%.
Okay. You know, like some of them are, I think, are automatically required, like
Oh, yeah.
like the ones on the back.
Yeah, like bonding, you know, that is what it is. It's, the MPC says 110%. It just bang, you know, but a lot of these things, the way the lights face and all that, this is a permitted use. This isn't even a conditional use. At least when it's a conditional use, we have some wiggle room. This is just permitted. I just, yeah.
I guess one question I do have, if, and this is probably for the applicant and their legal representation, there was some comments made at the last meeting that you would like to work with the residents that are very close to the proposed development to a lot of the mitigation with the landscaping and mounding would be actually on their property. So how would that process work in your view?
Well, assuming we don't get an appeal and a lot of this goes away, so it's cooperative, because what we think may happen, just something to consider, is some of the neighbors that are the least effective may take the biggest action and hurt the people that are most effective. So assuming this goes and there's no appeal, we expect with the contractor to go out and try to do improvements. Like we know one of our neighbors that's on the corner has concerns about large trees that he wants to come down, and then there's probably going to be changes in grade. And one of the things that we'll make known right here today, the best way and the shortest way to get to the sewer is his backyard. Well, you can do a lot more work if you can do that, and then we don't have to dig up Berkshire and the neighbors that live on Berkshire, their driveways and their yards. So it depends how cooperative it is on that end and how much leeway we have. But the expectation is to go with a contractor out there and see what we can do with the grades, the landscaping, and the vegetation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Bill, just while you're up, Bill, all of those conditions that we went over rather meticulously, the applicant agrees to all those if there's an approval, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we reiterate. And I understand there may be, you know, a change with some language or whatever, but yeah, we're fully committed, and we totally agree that they're 100% enforceable, so.
And one of the residents had a concern, which is number 17 on your conditions of applicant is required to further investigate and address the potential conditions in the southeast corner of the site, including any supports or mitigation measures that may be required. A slope stability assessment through this embankment area, including the use of required appropriate strength parameters must be included. So you're going to look at the southeast corner to ensure.
Yeah, we already did. In fact, we submitted, there's a March 19, 2024 geotech update provided by PSI, our geotechnical expert, So we already submitted to the municipality what our proposal is. I was actually going to ask that it be made part of the condition that we do it, because we're ready to commit to that specifically, but I don't know if the municipality's there. But we've already put forth what we think our approval is, and if we need to tweak it from the municipality, that's fine. But we wanted to advance that because that's the one condition where it has to be agreed, but we want to put it to bed. This is exactly what we think has to happen from a geotech standpoint.
Thank you.
Dean, I brought up before, I had a couple residents reach out to me in regards to, I know a lot of the work that's going to be done right along 22 in the corner house there and whatnot, the signs that, I think they're brick or, you know, for Mannerdale Farms is there. I mean, the applicant, I don't see it in the conditions, but I mean, I would assume that we would want those put back as is or better. Damaged? Yeah, like, I mean, they're probably gonna have to be removed or do something while they do it. So I just, a couple of residents had reached out that that was a concern. I just didn't see anything in there specific to it, but I would assume anything you take out, you'd have to put back.
I assume, but I'll just defer to the applicant if they want to speak to that.
Yeah, are you speaking about land monuments?
Yeah, because I think the homeowners association, obviously, I think they're fairly new, or, you know, that they're pretty new. I just want to make sure that, you know, if we have to rip those up, that if two of them match and you rip this one up, you know, you're going to have to make them both match or make it look, you know. I just want to make sure that that's taken.
What we expect to happen is our engineer will put forth, because this is the thing you want bonded, that's what the MPC covers, right? Not the completion and then the maintenance bond. We expect that's something, if we don't pick it up, the municipality will say, hey, you know, you need to put money in there for this to assure that that work will be done.
Okay.
So the engineers will go through those items. So I won't be around, Jim. You just have to add that to the bond list.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not hearing anything else from council, and I'll ask Wes. I mean, would you want to weigh in, give your thoughts as Murraysville solicitor?
Yep. President Dice, I agree with your analysis from a legal perspective. I think that while this is distasteful to the residents, it is a permitted use in the zoning district, and that the applicant is willing to agree to about 28 conditions that some of those which the applicant would not be required to agree to. Of course, the NPDES permit, the sewage planning modules, the availability of other utilities, the HOP permit from PennDOT, of course, those are always going to be required. But all of the other conditions, the applicant doesn't have to agree to them, but is agreeing to them. And if council were to vote no and the applicant elects to pursue an appeal, I believe that the applicant would be successful in that appeal, and then those conditions go by the wayside, which makes I would think in my mind and in the minds of the residents in that neighborhood, the development would be even more distasteful and offensive to them than it already is. So I think that your analysis, President Dice, is 100% correct, and I would suggest that we take advantage of the conditions and stay actively involved in the HOP permit process and things of that sort. So if we can weigh in with PennDOT, we can weigh in with PennDOT. Because that is going to be a condition to the development of this project.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you, Wes. I'll now let Mike or Jim, if either of you want to weigh in. Yep.
I just had one comment. There was some debate as to the final condition, which identified that there be no heavy mechanical work performed at the site. And I would suggest that maybe council consider modifying that only mechanical work incidental to the body repair of the vehicle be permitted. Then there would be no. If you just say mechanical, heavy mechanical work, does that mean they can do light mechanical work? I just think it's too open-ended and suggest that recommendation.
Okay, so I would ask applicant, are you okay with that recommended change to the language?
Yeah, in fact, Jim and I had a discussion, and I thought that it actually sanctioned mechanical work.
Yeah.
That's not what we want to do. Everything's going to be incidental. The example I think we gave before is we might have to lift a motor out to do the body work. We're not going to do work on the motor. We're not going to rebuild the motor. So, and actually, heavy, we don't want it to also be used where it's maybe not so enforceable, so somebody takes liberties. We're doing body work and things related, so if incidental to the body work, that's it, period. Mechanical work's going to be sent out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Well, thank you both for that clarification. I think that's very important.
Excuse me, Mr. Dice. I just wanted to also verify, because it was raised, whether the conditions are enforceable. Yes, you're 100% correct. If the conditions are part of the approval process and the applicant agrees to them, they are as enforceable as any other provision in our ordinances.
Okay, wonderful. So, Jim, how did you phrase that? Mechanical work incidental to, there we go, perfect.
You can read my chicken.
Thank you. So I would make a motion that 28, which had previously said heavy mechanical work, that it be the current motion on the floor be amended such that condition 28 would read, only mechanical work incidental to the body repair of a vehicle is permitted. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mac. All those in favor? And again, this is just to amend the motion. This is not approval or denial. So just to amend the motion for that condition. All those in favor, please say aye.
One question, you
Oh,
mentioned
absolutely.
28. I thought there were 26. So,
Yeah, 28 on my list.
28.
28. It's my mistake.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so again, the motion or amendment is on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so the motion has been amended. We're getting very close to a vote here. Before we do that, are there any final comments from council, the applicant, staff, anything?
A quick question, just for my edification. So if a condition is not met for whatever reason, what do we do about
We
that?
sue them and get an injunction in court, and then, that's an equity action. So the court then says, you will do this, developer or, Caliber, whoever. And if they continue to not do it, you can get fines against them. And, if they go absolutely crazy, eventually you're going to really, really tick off Westmoreland County judges, and the whole cornucopia is open. So, yeah.
And there would be a second alternative, and that would be just through the magisterial process in the form of a civil complaint for a violation of our ordinance.
Absolutely.
If these conditions weren't met, like during the construction phase, does that pause construction?
You would have to get an injunction for that. Yep. But again, depending on what's going on, those sort of things happen. What?
They won't get an occupancy.
That as well, So again, this approval is not a free-for-all. We absolutely monitor this, and this is why we have staff on top of this stuff. See?
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. So again, any closing thoughts from anyone about this? Okay, so before I call for a roll call, I'll just again note that the motion on the floor is to approve or deny. So whenever Verdale does the roll call, just say yes or no, or approve or deny, and we'll see where it's at. So with that being said, Verdale, could I have a roll call, please?
Mr. McKenna?
Yes.
Mrs. Ling?
Deny.
Mr. Olszewski?
Approve.
Mr. Stepanovich?
Yes.
Mr. Diakopoulos?
Approve.
Mr. Lemak?
Deny.
Mr. Dice?
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, everyone. So with that, we will move on to the next item on our agenda, which was 14B. I will note that I don't have the wording of that item.
I'll ask the audio-video staff in the back to display the agenda on the monitors, and it will have that item listed.
Even if you just want to read it, we can just say motion in a sec.
Do that. The item listed under 14B is currently worded as reapproval of the preliminary and final lot revision plan for Delmont Builders Supply, Inc. and Delmont Industrial Drive, LLC. As you can see now, it's displayed on the screen and hopefully on yours as well.
Okay, so we'll just say so moved. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Let's go. Carl. Doug, you just want to give us a brief explanation, Michael? You already did, but.
And Wes may be able to better describe.
Yes. This property is partially in Salem Township and partially in the municipality of Murraysville. Under the MPC, a subdivision plan has to be recorded within 90 days of approval. Murraysville approved it first, then it went to Salem Township. By the time it went through the Salem Township planning process and through their Board of Supervisors meeting, they did approve it, but the 90 days had elapsed. So we are back to asking that this be re-executed and reapproved tonight, so the plan can be recorded for the Dollar General up on 66.
Yeah, almost clerical in nature. Questions or concerns from council?
What was the original date of approval?
It was December, off the top of my head, it was in December.
I mean, I remember it going through. I'm just trying to remember.
I don't remember the exact date. It was almost within the 90 days, Ms. Ling. But I think it was like December, the first meeting in December.
Okay, thank you.
And nothing's being changed on this. It's just as it was approved before, everything's the same.
Exactly the same, Mr. McKenna.
And what's the delay?
The subdivision plan has to be recorded in the Recorder of Deeds office in Westmoreland County. It has to be recorded within 90 days of Murraysville Council's approval of the plan. But since the property is in two separate municipalities, it had to go through the planning process here, then it had to go through the planning process in Salem Township. By the time it finished the planning process in Salem Township, the 90 days had run on our approval date.
So it was no fault of the applicant?
Huh?
It was no fault of the applicant? It was,
absolutely not.
The process more, yeah.
Okay, any final questions or concerns?
No.
Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you, everyone. That brings us to 15A. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the award of the Lions Run Acid Mine Remediation Project to Keppel and Curry Incorporated in the amount of $1,670,987.86.
Second.
Thank you, Mac and Jamie. Michael?
Sure, yes, this is a project that is a joint project with the municipality and the Lions Run Watershed Association. You may recall that we received 2 grants for this project, or I should say we, being the municipality and Lions Run Watershed Association. $1.5 million from the DEP and $500,000 from the DCED to commission this project. They put the project out to bid. I believe there were 4 bidders. This is the low bid, $1.6 million. The bids were received all the way up to, I think, $2.1 million on the high end of things. So staff would ask council to approve the award of the project to Keppel and Curry and the amount listed in the motion.
Okay, questions or concerns? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. It is unanimous. Thank you. That brings us to old business. Any old business from anyone this evening?
Mr. Dice, may I make one other announcement? Last week, Murraysville Medic 1 lost a long-standing paramedic that served there for close to 20 years. He had also lived in the Vandergrift area and been a volunteer fireman. He had been on a call the night before and suffered a massive heart attack, as luck would have it, but wouldn't have it. Murraysville Medic 1 was covering the Vandergrift area at the time. They got him in the chopper okay, but he didn't make it to the hospital. I attended his fire department service last night in Apollo.
That's, condolences and thanking. Yeah, thanks to Mr. Schaefer for, it sounds like, his many years of service, just helping people, so. Any other old or new business this
New
evening?
business, I think I remember, I just wanted to wish our own Carl Stepanovich a happy birthday, I think this week, correct, Carl?
Turning 80.
80 years old, so congrats to Carl.
Around the world.
Yeah, congratulations, Carl.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was old business.
Poor Carl.
Old business.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
No executive session, no action items. Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in
Second.
favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy.